Report on the rescue efforts of Arthur Rostron et al. 032, April 15th. Captain Rostron awoke to a banging on the airlock to his personal quarters early in the daily cycle. He had only been asleep for a couple of hours and was far from pleased at being awoken at this hour. Rising from bed, still in his underwear, he pressed his hand against the control plate and slid the door open. In front of him was one of the comms officers, looking distressed.
"Sir, we have an emergency distress beacon!"
The comm officer hastily explained at such a speed that he had to take a deep breath and repeat himself.
"Sir, we have an emergency distress beacon!"
These words alone broke the captain out of his sleep-induced stupor. "Report!" he barked.
"We have a report from a passenger liner that they have had a serious collision with a rogue asteroid. They reported they are venting atmosphere and unable to repair and recover the ship due to catastrophic damage,"
the comms officer explained. "So she's void sinking?" he asked to confirm, to which the comm officer nodded.
"Seems that way, sir," he replied.
"How far away are they?" the captain demanded.
"Roughly 4.5 hours, sir,"
the comms officer replied, reading a few pages from a clipboard with no doubt calculations made by the navigation officer. "How many souls are on board?" he asked.
Data the distress beacon sent stated near 2,500,
the comms officer replied, his complexion going pale at the thought. "Right," the captain said, putting on only a t-shirt and heading for the bridge as fast and calm as he could manage. Arriving at the bridge, he found his night officer looking at him, as if waiting for orders. "I want a full about onto the heading towards the ailing ship," he roared. "Sound a general alarm. I don't care what shift the crew is on. We are all working to rescue as many people as we can. Is that clear?" The captain's voice boomed.
"Yes, sir!"
Everyone present chorused. "Hank, take the general crew and get them ready to the lifeboats. I want them ready for deployment the moment we arrive in system." The first officer saluted, acknowledging the order and running off. "Diggory, I want you to get every engineer and maintenance crewman to get the engine and reactor rooms and put every ounce of energy we can into powering them. Push them if you have to." The chief engineer saluted and ran off, dragging a few bleary-eyed engineers who had come to the bridge to find out why everyone was yelling. "Can we get a grav netting at the ready? There may be passengers trapped in the void, and we need to help them if we can," the captain asked, turning to his second officer. The officer just nodded and snapped his fingers at a few crewmen, telling them to go wake everyone else and do as ordered. "God, we can only hope we can make it in time," the captain muttered as he sat down in his chair, for what was no doubt going to be a long night. "Lower the blast shields. We don't want any stray comet or debris delaying us," the captain ordered, to which thick ceramic plating descended with a metallic screech over the viewports of the entire ship. 1:30, April 15th. The central atrium was filled with all the passengers who had been woken up by the general alert that was blaring. "What is the meaning of this?" one of the more well-dressed passengers demanded to the flustered crew, who were limited in the responses they could give. Walking out of the main doors arrived Captain Rostron, flanked by 2 security officers. Stepping onto the entertainer's stage, he approached a microphone and tapped it twice, eliciting a tone out of the speakers. "Hello, everyone. I am Captain Rostron. I am aware you are concerned about what is going on. I'm here to explain what is going on," he announced, which caused the passengers to all ask questions simultaneously, making a cacophony of noise. "Quiet!" the captain roared, without needing the microphone. Its force was such that everyone present swallowed their words. "At approximately 0:15 this morning, we received a distress beacon from a passenger liner that is void sinking. We are currently en route on a rescue mission," he announced, to which the crowd began to stir.
"Is no one else closer?"
"Does it matter?" the captain asked right back, which caused the passenger to retreat half a step. "Should we begin void sinking, would you rather have as many ships come to our aid or restrict the possibility?" The captain's pointed question silenced all who wanted to change back onto the actual course. "I am going to ask for your aid and assistance. From the reports we have, it is possible there are over 2,000 people in danger. We are setting up triage centers in the dining halls. We could use people who wish to help prepare food, hot drinks, and blankets. Life rafts don't always have insulation, and some of these people may have been exposed to space itself," the captain explained. Many of the faces in the crowd began to go pale at the very idea of this happening to anyone. After a few moments, hands began to rise, and then more rose, till eventually everyone held their hand up, ready to volunteer. The captain looked down at the unified goal. No class, no race, just the will to save lives. "Are there any doctors?" he asked, and a few stepped forwards. "Please follow the medical officer over there, and they will get you kitted out so we can provide medical care if it is needed," the captain said, gesturing to a man in a lab coat standing by a side door. "Next, I will explain that we are going to be reducing the life support systems to the bare minimum," the captain explained.
Why?
One of the passengers asked. "We are currently running at the capacity of energy our reactor can provide to the engines. I'm going to reduce all but the essential areas for the duration of our travel to ensure we arrive sooner rather than later," the captain explained, to which everyone present seemed to accept. "It will get cold. It will get uncomfortable. But I hope we can agree that it is a small price to pay, even if it means we arrive 5 minutes earlier. Because there may be another life saved in the 5 minutes," the captain said, with a genuine gratefulness in his voice. 2:30, April 15th. "Captain, the engines weren't designed to output this much thrust." The voice of the engineering officer came out of the internal comms. "Diggory, try to keep her running. I will take responsibility if it ends up needing to be scrapped, but I don't want to waste a single second here," the captain replied. "Aye, sir. Understood," Diggory's voice replied in a frustrated but understanding tone.
Sir, is this necessary?"
one of the deck crew asked.
"No one would fault us for maintaining a cautious approach. This is, after all, a sector known for asteroids,"
the officer continued. "Yes, Smid, it is. As I said to the passengers, if it were us, I would want our rescuers to make no restrictions. I'd want them rushing to our aid as fast as they can. It would be selfish for me not to reciprocate what I expect in return," the captain explained, looking at the officer who turned back to his display. Reaching for a microphone for the intercom system, the captain pressed down the speech button. "This is your captain speaking. We have received word that the general emergency supplies and stations are set up. For this, I thank you. I will now ask all passengers to remain in either the atrium or the dining halls until we arrive. All life support and lighting will be shut off in the remainder of the ship," the captain announced, turning to one of the deck crew, who nodded and began shutting down systems. 3:30, April 15th. "We have arrived in system, sir," the navigation officer announced. All on the bridge were elated. Some were even doing a little fist bump. They had done what no doubt would be classed a miracle of a rescue effort. They had traveled a distance their ship should have only been able to manage in 4 hours within 3. "Open blast shields. I want to see what we've arrived to," the captain said. With a metallic groan, the blast shields that had been down since they set off began to rise. The sight before them made everyone present freeze in shock. They could see the lifeless husk of the passenger liner split in two. Floating in space around the husk was a sea of people. "Report," the captain ordered, in a voice warbling from barely restrained emotions.
"We detect lifeboats, sir. There are survivors!"
the scanner officer announced. There were audible breaths of relief. "And the people in the void?" the captain asked.
The scanner reports that not all have life vests on, sir."
The captain swallowed audibly at this response. "What of the ones with life vests? Do they still have oxygen?" he asked, hoping against hope they could save more lives.
Sorry, sir, but there don't appear to be any life signs. This is a graveyard we're witnessing,"
the scanner officer replied, his voice cracking at the announcement. The captain could feel his heart stick in his throat, wondering if only he were faster. If only he had made this decision or that decision. But he couldn't rest on his guilt now. "Power up all life support and systems. Call all men to active quarters. We are bringing the survivors in. Is that clear?" the captain asked. The crew, as they had at the start, all chorused, "Yes, sir!" 12:20, April 15th. "That is the last of the passengers that were left to be rescued, sir," the first officer announced as they watched the last lifeboat land in the hangar. "What are the totals?" the captain asked. "Of the 2,208 souls, there are a total of 705 survivors," the first officer replied, biting his lower lip. "So many lives," the captain said, a tear welling up in his eye. Walking through the halls and dining rooms, he could see the rescued passengers being looked after by the passengers of his ship. Some offering comfort, others offering spare clothes. No one person was found without showing their truest humanity. "We failed, Hank," the captain muttered, lowering his head.
Sir?
The first officer asked. "We didn't save enough lives. We failed." The captain's lower lip trembled.
Sir, there's an old quote my rabbi would read to me when I wondered if the little good I did was enough.
The first officer began. When he was sure the captain was paying full attention to him, he began.
"Do not be daunted by the enormity of the world's grief. Do good now. Walk justly now. No one is expected to complete the work, but neither may anyone desist from it."
The first officer looked at the captain.
"Sir, what matters is you tried. You went above and beyond what anyone would expect. You made a miracle happen by sheer force of will. You persuaded all our passengers to do the right thing. The human thing. Yes, we didn't save everyone, but we still saved 705 people. That number may have been less had we arrived later."
The first officer finished his speech and felt the captain's hand rest on his shoulder. "Thank you, Hank," the captain said with genuine gratefulness, as tears welled up in his eyes.